Okay, hello. This is our second debate of the day. We have one team supporting the idea that schools are made only for extroverts, and one team who thinks that it is not true. So we'll start by Luna exposing her arguments. Okay, Luna, the floor is
Okay,
yours.
we are going to talk about the topic that a school is made only for extroverts and introverts don't feel like fine or good in it. Okay, the first thing we must be conscious about is that there are many people introvert and there are different cases. So maybe you're an introvert and you can talk for hours with some person, and there are another introvert who can talk for more than an hour. This is something that we must know. There are many people and many cases. But especially in school, in the part of socializing, I think there is a really big gap between introverts and extroverts. While extroverts could communicate more easily than introverts, um, uh, it sounds like double.
You sound okay, Luna.
Okay. Okay, don't worry. There is a there is a right time that extrovert could be speaking with many people, and for example, in the breaks, extroverts could communicate more easily, and even introverts have friends or things like that. They maybe sometimes they don't want to be the 6 hours of school talking most of the time. So maybe at break time, even introverts have friends, they want to be alone for a moment. I think it's something that we don't know about it, and when we see someone alone, we think that he don't have friend or she don't have friend. Maybe they just don't wanna be together because they want to relax a little and don't talk with anyone. Then this is the part of socializing, but there is also a great gap in learning, as maybe introverts don't want to ask the doubt or the question to teachers, as they thought that maybe they have a stupid doubt, and they don't want to ask it because they thought that maybe an extrovert or another person could doubt of them. So at the end, they don't ask doubt or questions, so they don't have these positive marks, and at the end, their marks are lower. Also, in the presentations or in the works that are talking or in groups, there is also a great difference. As well, extrovert could do it more or less well when he's talking in public, as they don't feel nervous, but introverts could or doing more or less well because they could do it well, but maybe they felt so nervous that at the end they could suffer an anxiety or something like that, while an extrovert just are talking. Also, okay. Also, while extroverts could maybe be the leader of the team, introvert usually don't want, as they don't want to do teamwork. They don't participate as much as introverts. So, as I told later, after these lower their mark, and at the end they will have a negative mark because they don't want to talk that much. So, in conclusion, we think that introverts could more or less afford educational system because they are more or less comfortable with this, as we as introverts start from which we are 3 years old, but we feel so uncomfortable in school and we don't like to be in it. And I think it's something that we must take into account, as there are many people in, and we need to know about everyone.
Okay, Luna, thank you very much. Very well exposed. Now it's the turn for the other team to ask questions. Who is going to ask the first question? No one? Okay, Diana, please open your mic and ask the question.
Okay, so you said that introverts may feel anxious when sharing their opinions or asking questions in class, but this would be like associating a lack of confidence with introversion, which is not really that way, because introversion is really just wanting some alone time during the day, and it's not really lack of self-confidence. So why do you think uh, asking questions would make them anxious.
Okay, who can answer? Apart from Luna, I need to all of you participate. All of you will answer a question. If they don't ask, I will.
I can.
Okay.
Maybe because they feel like when you ask a question, everyone is looking at them, and that makes them feel uncomfortable because introverts, mm, as we know, want work better by themselves and not surrounded by people. So being in an environment where there are many people that can judge you or look at you can be really uncomfortable for them.
Okay, thank you, Irene. Other question, please? Okay, Jorge?
Okay, my question is, if the education system is designed for extroverts, why do introverts get higher marks?
Haha. Who wants to answer that?
I think introverts don't get higher marks. They only like stay at home more usually, so they have more time to study maybe. But I don't think introverts have like higher marks than extroverts.
Okay, very good point, Carla. Very good point.
Can I ask something?
Yes, Irene, please.
Where have you read that introverts have better marks?
In internet.
Okay.
Okay, your sources are good, Jorge.
Yes. No, they are
Don't
not
believe
reliable.
everything
That's
there's
not
on the internet. UFOs don't exist. And there's no Dracula anywhere. So any other question, please? Because I think there is one member who hasn't talked.
No, two. Me and Guillermo. And Nerea. Also.
Okay, so I mean, who from this team hasn't talked? You, Guillermo, and Nerea.
Yes.
So Guillermo, ask a question. But Pablo, you're going to do your speech. So Guillermo, Nerea.
Yes.
Questions.
Do you think that being an extrovert in class is based only on doing group activities?
Okay. What do you think? Luna, you can answer this too.
It's not only depend on it. As I said, also, for example, in the break time, introverts used to separate as they want to be also alone. But I think it's a great part is also for group activities, as many times you don't want to do it in a group as you do it the work better alone. So we think that.
Okay, and what's your question, Nerea?
My question is, what do you think is easier for a teacher to teach an extrovert or an introvert?
What's easier for a teacher?
Would you like to repeat the question, please? What do you think for a teacher is easier to teach an extrovert or an introvert person? I think they are equal for each of them because introverts, as they don't talk, okay, they pay more attention, maybe, but an extrovert can participate more in class, so they are like equal, the two of them. I don't know if you catch what I'm saying.
Yes, I think perfectly. Great. So I think it was a very well exposed debate and very thought questions. So Pablo, it's your time to defend your position. The floor is
Can I ask one
yours.
question?
Oh yes, you could add a question.
It has been said that there are
No,
some
but
things
your
that-
turn, Dario, is when both teams finish.
Oh, okay.
When both teams finish, you all of us can ask questions.
Okay,
So let's Pablo do their speech.
Okay. First, I'm going to tell some basic information, such as that we all know that external traits are very attractive, dominant, or forceful to generally be considered necessary in society. But in our team, we don't think that because introversion it could be also a good thing as you can have a better way of thinking than a extrovert. Despite the differences between the two, we truly believe uh, that the current educational system somehow makes to have their needs met through from different approaches. Each individual can aspire to get good grades regardless of how they prefer to work. Like extroverts like to work in groups, and introverts like to work alone and think very deeply all the questions. So we think they can get a better mark, both of them. Uh, a key factor is to have a culture of personality, which at least in our country, uh, we think it has been accomplished. So that the 1 out of 3 people who prefers working on their own is provided with that, if sorry, with what they need to succeed at school. So we have provided the information so to prove that extroverts can have the same mark as introverts and vice versa, because extroverts can have a better mark at expositions or group projects, and introverts, as they are working by themselves can have better mark at SAMs or works that you need to do by yourself.
Okay, is it
That's
the
all.
end of your exposition? Okay, so the other team, it's your turn to ask questions.
I'm going to
Anna,
start.
Sophie.
Um,
Okay.
do you think forcing introverts to work in groups is useful?
Diana?
Occasional group working is fine for everyone because it's a skill that is very useful for the future and that will be necessary in most jobs. But I think individual work is also a great part of school so that introverts have the opportunity to really reflect on the topics at hand and like being on their own, just working and getting their thoughts together.
Okay. Any other question? Fran?
Would you give students the option to do a project by themselves instead of in a group?
Who wants to answer? Okay, come on.
Francisco, can you repeat the question?
Okay. Would you give students the option to do a project by themselves instead of in a group?
Yes, because I think extroverts and introverts, in the way of presenting a presentation, could get in the same way nervous. For example, I'm extrovert, and every time I make a presentation in front of a lot of people, I get nervous. So this can happen also to an introvert.
Nerea?
Well, I don't think that being an introvert or extrovert is only based on presenting a presentation. It's also on the work of doing a presentation, like no presenting, like doing it. An extrovert could, I don't know, work better by itself, not with another person. So, answer the question that Brown asked. I think that every person should have the opportunity to feel better doing I don't know project or a class work. So so opportunities to work better, and that's it.
Okay, thank you, Nerea. I think you made your point very clear. And any other question?
Yes. Have any of the members of the group ever heard an introvert's opinion or feelings on this topic? And if so, what have they told you?
Diana?
Well, I'm an introvert myself, and I think that different ways of working are already being provided because most teachers are already given the option between doing like collaborative work with other people and having the opportunity to discuss topics or just working on your own and doing an individual project. And I also think that classrooms are gradually becoming more adapted to introverts' necessities as the years pass.
Okay, and I think you can voice and ask the teacher and tell them your opinion. So, interesting. So now that everyone has asked and answered, it's time for the audience to ask their questions. So Dario, this is your turn. And my cat is mowing.
Okay. The main question of the debate was, is the educational system designed for extroverts? And it has been said that there is a balance between the experience of introverts and extroverts. And during the questions and the exposition, it was also said that there are things that make both of the groups uncomfortable. So don't you think that schools aren't designed for neither of them?
I can answer that, but I won't. Diana?
I mean, everyone has to do something they feel uncomfortable with, at least at a point in their lives, because they're also necessary skills to develop your personality. And just because you don't like doing it, it doesn't mean that it isn't an essential part of everyday life.
Okay, Diana, I think that was a very good point. I mean, as you can see, this was a very hard topic because each one of us identifies as introvert or extrovert, but in the same way, we're not 100% introvert or extrovert, and it depends, as all of you have very well manifested, that it depends on the person. So what Marina and I wanted you to do was think about this in ways how to improve your experience in school. I mean, everything can be improved, but Roberto wants to add something.
I want to ask you what is your, like, if you were in this debate and you could choose, not like us, what would you?
What side would
Yes.
I be in?
Well, what side you are?
I think we are changing, and as an introvert myself, I try to take into account to provide my students with diverse and multiple activities, which some of them are more enjoyable to them, some of them are not. I hated to do group works. In the end, my voice wasn't heard, or in the end I was the one doing all the job. I don't know, I hated it. And it's because I'm an introvert, but also school helped me improve my skills when socializing and feeling more comfortable with people. So I think there is not a definite answer for this. I think the world is made for extroverts, and starting changing things in school is the best way to do it, to adapt to everyone. But it's, as Diana said, at least once in our lives we're going to do something we feel uncomfortable with, and we have to know how to cope with that. So that's my opinion. So that's why I think all of you did very great, because I think you gave a very deep thought about the topic. You were very good debating, you respected turns, and you had the idea on what you were talking about. So I've been recording this, and this evening or tomorrow I will watch it with Marina again, and we'll put your marks and everything. But congratulations, because it was a very well job done. And now you can go have lunch. Let's say hi to Marina.
Very
Hi,
soon.
Marina.
Very soon.
It's been a pleasure. I will try and go tomorrow to your graduación.
Perfect.
But if I can't see you tomorrow, have a lovely time in Lisbon. Enjoy. You know, you've been 2 years within a pandemic, very frustrated, and without being able to socialize, and without being able to be with your friends and dear ones. So I hope you enjoy as much as you can, because you have done a great job. Okay? Thank you, guys. You've been a pleasure. Have
Thank
fun.
you too.
Bye, Fernando.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Felipe.